Kaden.
And we're here with tonight's RHR. My little boy wanted to join me tonight. You know what's so interesting is that when he was a baby, he does not remember this, but when he was a baby, I was just starting Naturalicious. And I was a single mom at the time, so I would literally have to carry him around to all my meetings. And you didn't even remember it. And so anyway, so it's interesting now that he always wants to be on RHR and like do stuff with the business, but he doesn't even know he's been doing this since he was like in his carrier when he was a baby. But he wanted to join. He said, "Can I please join RHR?"
I had to finish my homework, and I had 3 books to do, and I was on the first one, and then she didn't want me to go fast, but I finished my homework. She spent too much time on her computer that I finished my work.
So he was moving real slow today, and I was like, I'm about to go do RHR. So if you're trying to join me tonight, then you need to do this homework, because otherwise you're not doing RHR with me. And so he flew through his homework and got all the answers right, by the way.
You checked them?
I did check them.
Oh, jeez.
And here we are. So hey y'all, happy Thursday. It's time
for
Happy
Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Happy Valentine's Day.
Did you forget about that?
No, I didn't. I was going to say it, but you just beat me to it. So happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Real quick, if you are watching this on replay, holla replay for us. And if you are watching this live, say what's up. If you're an OG, let me know. If you're a newbie, let me know.
What's a newbie? Like a person that's a noob at a game?
A person that's like new to joining us on RHR.
Did you say newbie or newbie?
Newbie.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought that meant like noobs.
No. So anyway, we're going to talk about 3 common hair care mistakes that you are probably making. And I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm also going to show you how to fix those things. Hey, Lakeisha. Hello, Loretta. Loretta said, good job, Mr. Caden.
Thank you.
Okay, you guys sit still, okay?
Mr. C.
Lee,
I'm
what's
Mr.
up?
Ross.
What's up, Lee? Hey, Shaban. Hello, Vakia and Audrey and Erica. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hey, second time newbie.
Mr. C is Mr. Claus, and now I'm Mr. C.
Okay, very good. Okay, before we get into it, if you are depending on when you're watching this video, if you are watching it live or within the next couple of days of it going live, there is a 30% off sale on step 1 going on SallyBeauty.com and in Sally stores, by the way. Step 1 only is on sale. This is not a sale that Naturalicious is running. This is a sale that Sally is running. So go get that 30% off. Step 1, you guys, is on sale. You know, with Sally sales, you know, sometimes it'll last a day, sometimes it'll last a couple days. You never really know when they're going to take it down. So if I were you, I would go and get that sale, because it's 30% off, which is huge. All right. Now, by the way, if you have any questions, there's no code required, which is amazing as well. If you go to the website SallyBeauty.com, search for Naturalicious, step 1 is already discounted. If you buy it in the store, step 1 is already discounted. The nice thing is that you don't need a code to purchase it in store or online. But if you have any challenges with the purchasing, unfortunately, Naturalicious cannot help you because it's not our sale. We don't have anything to do with it. We don't know. We don't have any insight. Exactly what you can see is what we can see. So we can't help you. So if you have any challenges with the sale of the 30% off step 1 at Sally, make sure you go to Sally's contact us page and contact them for assistance, because Naturalicious will not be able to assist you. It's not our sale. I'm just the messenger. I'm just passing along the good news. All right. So make sure you get that 30% off. I'm so glad to hear, Sampreneur, that you got yours at Sally. She got hers. I saw somebody else earlier today. They said they got their, actually a few people said they got their 30% off. So kudos to you guys. I'm telling you, go get it, because who knows when they're going to take it down. All right. Let's get into the topic for the evening. We got Carolyn joining us. We got Sampreneur. We got Marjorie. Welcome, Marjorie, for your first time. It's so awesome to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome, Camille. Hello, Kim. Hey, Allison, second time newbie. Hey, Teresa. And Lakeisha. All right. Beverly said the problem is they never seem to have it out. Well, Beverly, you can always ask them to go look in the back. I don't know if you saw Renee's video, but Renee Williams, she actually made a video of her walking into Sally asking for the product. They didn't have it. She had to ask them to go get it. They gave her a little bit of a hard time. She ended up going back. She got it. She talked to the manager, blah, blah, blah. Long story, she ended up getting it to come out. So if you want the product, really, all you should really have to do is ask Beverly for them to actually go look in the back and get it. All right. So, you know, have to realize they have a lot of products and they have limited shelf space. So sometimes it doesn't always get put on the shelf. And obviously we want the Naturalicious products on the shelf, right? Like, we don't care if they got limited shelf space. We want it on the shelf so you guys can get it. So if you ask, they should be able to put that out for you. What you laughing at? All right, let's get into the topic for tonight. Are you going to help me with this?
Yeah.
All right, so I need you. So these are 3 things that you guys are possibly doing, or some of you may be doing. You may be doing all of them. You may be doing some of them. Kudos to you if you are doing none of them. And I'm going to bet that if you've been watching RHR for a while, you're not doing these things because you guys already know. But for those of you who are not super duper OGs, you may not know all these things. So we're going to talk about those things. Jasmine, yes, these are boho locks. My girl Lulu is the owner of the company. I know you've seen their ads all over the place. Lulu, my friend who makes the boho locks. You don't know Lulu.
Who's boho locks?
This hair.
Oh.
Anyway. Yes, I know he is so silly, Siobhan, but yes, these are boho locks. Lulu, she's actually in the Naturalicious station. She doesn't really post very much, but I just talked to her today, actually, and she is the owner of this company, and I love their hair. If she was not my friend, actually, I'm her mentor as well. I would still buy this hair because it's incredible. It's amazing. But yes, Jasmine, these are boho locks, and I highly, highly recommend them. All right, Kaden. This is your list. I need you to read things off to me. He's going to help me today, you guys.
Lace.
I know I have chicken scratch. Kaden has better handwriting than me, you guys. My handwriting is horrible. This says
Lack
number
of
one
moisture.
thing that you might be doing that is causing you to have hair challenges is
Lack of moisture.
lack of adequate moisture. Thank you, son. Lack of adequate moisture. This is the big one. This is the number one cause of almost all hair issues for those of us who have naturally dry hair, which is pretty much everybody who's watching this video.
Yeah,
all right?
this is kind of chicken scratch.
I know it is chicken scratch. So, lack of adequate moisture. We're not going to go into it really, really deeply because I've done several RHRs on this topic, but I do have to make this number 1 because this is the biggest culprit, and it is the one thing that you can do to almost solve every problem that you're having. If you're having dryness, brittleness, some forms of shedding, split ends, if you are having issues with I'm sorry, you made me lose my train of thought. Any sorts of basically hair issues, a lot of, especially breakage and dryness, it is a result of lack of adequate moisture. You have to make sure you're knowledgeable about the ingredients you're putting in your hair. Everything that says that it's a moisturizer on the label is not necessarily telling you the truth. Some things just make your hair feel like it's moisturized in the moment, but if you give it a couple of days or so, you'll find that your hair feels bone dry, and that's because the ingredients that are in those products are not actually moisturizing ingredients. They're basically just like almost like a filter, right? It's almost like a filter on top of your hair that makes you feel, it makes it look in the moment.
I wish Mike could go
in the moment that your hair is moisturized when it's really not. Okay, so we've talked extensively about mineral oil and about how some of these products will say, you know, on the label that they do certain things, and then you get it home and you realize that it doesn't. I'm not going to go deep into that because I've done several RHRs on that. If you missed any of those, make sure you go to our YouTube channel. Search the YouTube channel name is Naturalicious Beauty, youtube.com/Naturalicious Beauty, and search for literally everything you could possibly ever want to know about your hair. It's literally a knowledge base. Anything you want to know about your hair is more than likely on that channel. All right, and so you'll see some videos where I've talked again extensively about what to look for in ingredients and that sort of thing. So we won't go too deep into it right now, but I do want to make sure that we're listing this as number 1 because everything else that I'm going to tell you after this, these 2 other hair care challenges that you might be, mistakes that you might be making, are going to be null and void if you're not adequately moisturizing your hair. And as I've always said before, it's not about how much you moisturize at one time. It's about how consistent you are with moisturizing. I was just speaking at Norfolk State University just not even a week ago, this past weekend, and they invited me there for Black History Month to talk, and of course the topic of hair care came up because it's what I do. And one young lady was like, well, how do I know how much moisturizer I should be using in my hair when I moisturize my hair? And it's one of my favorite questions to answer, because there's so much misunderstanding when it comes to moisturizing your hair. A lot of times we think we just got to take like a big chunk of moisturizer and slather it on our hair, and our hair is all of a sudden supposed to be able to retain all this moisture when we haven't been giving it moisture for I don't know how long. And that's just unrealistic. That's not really realistically how hair works, right? You have to be consistent with it. And you guys know, if you follow me for any length of time, hey Peaches, if you follow me for any length of time, you already know the analogy that I always give is this. Let's say you have 5 hours in a day to work out. We're gonna use diet and exercise as the analogy here. Let's say you have 5 hours in a week to work out. You can either work out 5 hours on one day, or you can work out for 1 hour over the course of 5 days. And we know which one is going to give us the better results, right? It's going to be the one where you work out for 1 hour over the course of 5 days, not when you work out for 1 day for 5 hours. It's the same thing when it comes to your hair. If you're slathering a big old pile of moisturizer on your hair on one day, and then you just don't give your hair any more moisture love for the next 4 or 5 days, your hair's going to suck all that up. It's going to feel bone dry. It's going to feel like you haven't done anything to it. However, if you give your hair a little bit of moisture each day, every day, and you're consistent with that over time, your hair will retain moisture. It will feel moisturized. It will break less. It won't have all the split ends that you might be experiencing, and you'll actually retain length. So a lot of times when we feel like our hair isn't growing, unless we have some sort of scalp issue, it's not that our hair is not growing, it's that our hair is breaking off as fast as it's growing from the scalp. So your hair breaks at the ends while it's growing at the scalp. You have to remember that our hair only grows 1/2 inch per month. 1/2 inch, that's like almost nothing. That's a super small amount.
It's like this much.
Yeah. It's even
like as big as my thumb.
Yeah, smaller than that. It's super small. And so that's why it's so important to make sure you retain length, because if your hair is breaking 1/2 inch and as it's growing 1/2 inch, you're never going to see the length differential. It's going to seem like your hair is not growing. However, think about this. If your hair grows 1/2 inch per month over the course of a year, if you retain all that length, that's 6 inches in a year, which is a lot. So cumulatively, that 1/2 inch is a lot. But in the moment, with just 1 month, it's really not a lot. So that's why every time your hair is growing 1/2 inch and it's breaking off 1/2 inch, you don't see the length. So it's not that your hair is not growing. Again, it's that it's breaking as fast as it's growing. So your job and your question to answer is not how do I make my hair grow, because that's what everybody seems to ask. How do I make my hair grow? That's not the question. The question is, because your hair's already growing, the question is, how do I retain my length? And when you understand that that's the question, then you can shift your thinking into, okay, my hair's already growing. I need to put moisturizer on my hair, not some sort of serum on my scalp to try and get it to grow faster, because that's not going to help it do anything. You need to put the moisturizer on your ends and all over your hair, but especially your ends, to make sure those ends are moisturized and that they are less prone to breakage. So again, lack of adequate moisture is the #1 cause, and I have to make this #1 on the list of 3 mistakes that you are probably making. So how do you fix this? It's very simple. You get yourself a good moisturizer. If you're using the Naturalicious line, you can use step 2 in our line. That is our Moisture Infusion Styling Cream, which is right here. This is step 2 in the moisture. This is the number, blah, 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 blah. This, I have to rewind. This is step 2, the Moisture Infusion Styling Cream in the Naturalicious line. It has water as the very first ingredient. You always want to make sure, no matter what brand you use, and you guys know I always make my RHRs, Real Hair Revelations brand.
Real Hair Revelations and RHR are the same thing.
I know. They're brand agnostic. Okay, so while of course I own Naturalicious, of course I want you to buy Naturalicious, but of course I'm also very, very interested in you having a enjoyable, healthy hair journey, no matter what product you use. So if you want to use Naturalicious, step 2 in the line is the product for you. If you are not using Naturalicious, this is what you look for. You go to the store. You make sure water is the first ingredient on the list. It cannot be number 2, number 7, number 5, number 10. It needs to be number 1. Not number 1,000. It needs to be number 1. And the reason for this is because water is the most moisturizing thing you can ever possibly put on your hair. I know people say all the time that water is drying. That's not true. Water evaporates as water is supposed to do. But what good moisturizers do is they combine water with, as the first ingredient, with other humectant type ingredients. And humectants are ingredients that attract moisture to your hair. And we, those of us who have dry hair, want all the moisture attraction that we can get, right? So, yes, Siobhan says step 2 is the bomb. Peaches says I use mine every morning, and she's talking about step 2.
There's a person named Peaches?
Yes, Peaches. That's cousin Jeremy's fiance.
What's fiance?
Fiance is someone who is about to get married. So they're going to get married. Isn't that exciting?
Is she her aunt?
So, no, she won't be your aunt. She'll be your cousin.
Oh, jeez.
Peaches, Kaden got all kind of questions about you. Anyway, so she said,
asked about her.
oh my gosh, can you let me talk? Thank you. I use mine every morning and the Spanish almond regrowth oil. So love that, love that. Siobhan says she needs a tub of step 2. So yes, make sure your moisturizer has water as the first ingredient and humectant ingredients that combine with that water to moisturize your hair over time. Okay? Peter said, hey, Kaden. Okay. So, that's number 1. Can you tell me what number 2 is on my list? You know, it says, my handwriting is horrible, y'all. It says,
too harsh and property tangling.
All right. So, number 2 on the list is being too harsh on your hair. So after you've got the moisture problem fixed, right? We're going to assume that you got that taken care of. The next thing on the list is improperly detangling your hair. Some of y'all are way too hard on your hair. When you are detangling your hair, first of all, I need you to always use a wide tooth comb. Always use a wide tooth comb. Let me say it again. Always use a wide tooth comb. Exactly.
Everybody text it.
Always, always, always wide tooth comb. Because our hair is not naturally bone straight, okay? And when you have any sort of curl or texture to your hair, small tooth combs, they snag on that texture, especially for those of us who have curls. If you are someone who has tight curls, aka type 4 hair, even the closer you are to 4C, the even more important it is for you to use wide tooth combs, because the tighter your curl pattern is, the harder it is for those small tooth combs to get through your hair, and the more likely you are to literally rip your hair out of your scalp. We are trying to retain as much hair as possible. We're not trying to have bald spots. We're not trying to have breakage and all that kind of stuff. So even if your goal is not to grow your hair long, you certainly don't want to have thin areas because you've ripped your hair out from using a small tooth comb. Yes, Teresa. Teresa said always use a wide tooth comb. Teresa knows what's up.
Thank you.
So, wide tooth combs, you guys. No small tooth combs. I know some of you like Denman brushes, but I'm telling you, those are ripping your hair out too. I don't really know where the whole Denman brush craze came about from. I don't know about that. Denise, I don't really know what a detangling brush looks like. I would need to actually see the teeth on the comb. So if you're in the Naturalicious Nation, do me a favor and drop a picture of it, and I'll be happy to tell you if it's cool. It's pretty simple, right? So basically, are the teeth wide? Can you fit your finger, right, in between the combs, or between the comb, the little teeth, right? Can you fit your finger between the teeth? If you can't fit your finger between the teeth, there's a good chance that comb or brush may be too small, may have too small teeth. You need one that's wider, okay? Loretta says, I just throw out all the small tooth combs and brushes. Awesome. What about shampoo brush? I don't know about the shampoo brush, about the detangling brush. I'm not quite sure because they all kind of differ from brand to brand. But again, if you can fit your finger in between it, it should be fine. Kaden, do me a favor. Go in one of the bathrooms and get me the big comb that I used to do your hair in my hair.
Bathroom?
Yeah, that's fine. Either one. I'm going to have him go get the comb so I can show you our wide tooth comb so you can see what I mean about fitting your fingers in between the teeth. Hopefully he can find it because, you know, kids, you ask them to find something, they go, I can't find it. And to be like right in their face. Anyway, so we'll see if he can find it. If so, I'll show you guys, okay? And to Lee's point, if you detangle gently, less comes out. Exactly. And that was my next point. So thank you, Lee. That's a fantastic segue into my next point. When you are detangling, make sure you always start at the ends of your hair. Always start. Do not start up here because literally you found it?
Huh?
You found it?
No.
It might be one in a downstairs bathroom. It might be one in the downstairs bathroom. When you are detangling, you are literally detangling the like, I'm trying to think what word to use. You're detangling the hair that has been kind of combined together, so you're trying to separate it. If you start up here, you're again just ripping through, no matter how slow or gentle you're going. Your job is to start at the bottom of your hair, at the ends where it's closest to the bottom, and gently detangle your hair with a wide tooth comb. And as it detangles in this section, then you're going to work your way up. Okay, and then you keep working your way up and up and up and up until you finally get up to the root, and then you detangle all the way down. Okay, do not start at the top of your hair because you're going to be ripping your hair out if you do that. And again, our goal is to retain as much length as possible. If you are experiencing breakage and you think that your hair is not growing, but it actually is, then maybe the problem of you being too harsh on your hair. You're doing too much, too harshly. And to Lee's point, we need to be gentle. John says, what step 2 can be used with other... Okay, I'll answer that in one moment for you, John, about step 2. I want to finish this one point about the detangling. Did you find the comb?
I'm using the bathroom, but Mike found it, yes.
He's using the bathroom now. Mike, you have the comb?
Yeah, he wants to bring it to you.
Okay. Here he comes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so he's going to bring the comb in just a second.
Wide tooth comb.
Thank you. Okay. So, I can fit the tip of my finger through this comb. Okay?
I can barely do it.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to be able to, like, put your whole thing in there easily. But you should be able to fit the tip of your finger through the comb. See? You should be able to fit the tip of your finger through the comb. Okay, if you can't do that, then your comb is too small. Yes, Lee said, take your time with detangling. Do not rush. I agree. Do not rush. This is not a race. You don't get any awards for being the fastest detangler. You don't get a trophy.
Do you get a trophy for being the slowest?
You don't get a trophy for being the slowest either. But you definitely don't get a trophy for being the fastest. So don't feel like you need to rush through this process. One way also to make it easier for you to detangle.
You can
and
put
this
your
is
finger through this, then you're rich.
to detangle. And this is a trick that I tell everyone. If you are using Naturalicious, when you wash your hair with step 1, put step 1 back on your hair, okay? Don't completely rinse it out yet. You're gonna wash your hair with it. Do this in the shower. Have the water running on your hair. The water from the shower will actually help to separate your hair strands naturally, along with the clay that naturally helps to separate your hair strands. So by the time you even get to the detangling portion, it's like butter. Like you just gliding through detangling your hair. Yes, Denise also says detangle in small sections. I 100% agree. Next point I was gonna make. Y'all are on it today. I love it. So the next thing that I do, and you guys who have seen me do my live wash days, you know I do this. I section my hair into 4 sections. So I part down the middle and then I part across. So I have 4 sections of hair. So I'm only detangling my hair in 1 section at a time, which makes it a lot easier because I'm not trying to work with so much hair. So a couple things here. One, you're gonna section your hair into, for me it's 4 sections, for you it may be 6 or maybe 2, however many sections. Just make them smaller than all of your hair. The second thing is that you're going to use a wide tooth comb, and you need to be able to fit your fingertip through the in between the teeth. That's how you know if the comb is wide enough. Okay.
Wait, so did you just say if you can put your teeth through it?
No, I didn't say that, sweetie. Are you going to sit over here or are you going to sit here? What are you doing? All right. And then the third thing is that wash your hair, or I'm sorry, detangle your hair with the water running onto your hair.
Wait, there's another thing.
I haven't got to that yet. If you're using step 1, put that on your hair. Water's running on your hair, and you're going to detangle your hair while all that's on your hair. The clay will naturally separate your hair, which makes it easy to detangle, and the water will help it along as well. All right. That is number 2. Where's number 3, Kaden?
Number 3 is sleeping
with
enemy.
Yes. So number 3 is sleeping with the enemy. Come over here. Silence says you're so cute.
Silence.
Yes. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kim.
I just got to tell you something.
No, Kaden, listen. I'm on live. I told you, if you're not going to sit here and cooperate, you have to go. Okay? Mm-hmm. This is not the Kaden show. This is Naturalicious. This is the Real Hair Revelations. Okay? Mm-hmm. So are you going to sit here and cooperate?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So. Come on. All right. So as I was saying, this is live, y'all. This is live in real life. This is what happens in real life, right? So, sleeping with the enemy. Huh? It's okay. Give me a hug. I love you. I'm just saying, you gotta cooperate, you know? We're trying to do something professionally. You can't be like moving around and playing with toys and stuff. You gotta, you know,
you just
be on it.
my cover.
A blue cover?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
You're moving around.
Okay. In any case, thank you, Eva. I'm glad that you like my look today. Serena said, hey, Gwen, it's so hard to find you when you're going live. I clicked the link in the email, but it doesn't immediately go to live. What am I doing wrong? I don't know, but you're watching live right now, boo. So, hey, girl. Hey. So let's get into number 3. So number 3 is sleeping with the enemy. If you've seen me talk about this before, you know what I'm about to say. You can moisturize your hair all day long. You can, thank you, Loretta. You can detangle your hair properly all week long. But if you go to bed and you're sleeping on a cotton pillowcase or a polyester pillowcase, you are wasting your time doing everything else. Because, think about this. The place that you spend the most time in one spot is where?
Your bed.
Your bed, exactly. In bed. And so you may say, well,
for me at school.
No, it's still in bed, right? Because think about it. You can say I spend all day at school, right? Or for you guys, you may say I spend all day at work. But when you're at work, you're up moving around. You're going to the bathroom. You're going to lunch. You're going to recess. You're going to gym class.
How are they going to recess?
Not them, you. Oh. They're getting up. They're going to lunch. They're going to their coworkers' desk. They're doing all sorts of other stuff, right? But
yeah, because it's nighttime right now, and it's still not Friday yet. So yeah, you do spend the most time.
Yeah, so think about it. When you lay
spend
down
the whole day in the bed.
Well, not the whole day, but I'm saying when you lay down and sleep at night, you're spending anywhere from 5 on the low end probably to up to 10 on the high end of hours, 5 to 10 hours sleeping in one spot. Your hair is in that same spot. Now you may shift around in the middle of the night, but you're in that same spot all night long, right? So stop please. The number of hours you spend in any one spot, the longest number of hours is going to be in your bed, right? So your hair is exposed to whatever you're sleeping on for all that time. I personally usually get about 7 or 8 hours of sleep. Him, he gets about 10. You may get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, who knows? But either way, you're spending all that time laying on a pillow. And that pillow, if it's made out of cotton or polyester, it's sucking all the moisture out of your hair. All that moisture you've been putting in earlier, all that good detangling you did, it's going to make your hair even more tangled, and it's going to suck all the moisture out. And again, if you have naturally dry hair, you need all the moisture you can get. So here's how you fix that. You get yourself a satin or silk pillowcase. I have a silk one that I got from Amazon. Excuse me.
The gray one?
Mm-hmm. You can also get satin. Do not go to your local beauty supply and try to get a satin pillowcase. It will say it's a satin pillowcase. It's full of crap. It's not satin because satin does not cost $6. Satin's more expensive than that.
How much?
Maybe like 20. Yeah.
Not that much.
Yeah, it's not super, you know, pricey, but it is more expensive than a couple of dollars.
Like that, like Miami went to some place and this big giant or this small little thing cost $300.
I don't know what you're talking about, sweetie.
Well, it was me and Mike. You weren't there.
Oh, okay. So somebody's bound to ask about silk or satin bonnet. Yes, I knew it was gonna come. Denise is asking about the satin bonnet, and so is Mary. So here's my recommendation. First of all, it's very hard to find a truly satin bonnet because what happens usually with satin bonnets is that it's satin on the outside, but it's cotton or polyester on the inside, right? The material is usually different on the inside. So whatever is on your hair is what matters. What's on the outside really doesn't matter because that's not touching your hair anyway. So if you are sleeping with a bonnet, make sure that that bonnet is silk or satin on the inside as well as the outside. If you sleep, it's easier to find a silk or satin scarf, particularly silk scarves. You can find silk scarves very easily at like your local like resale shop or thrift shop. But it's kind of hard to find true satin or silk bonnets that are satin or silk on both the inside and the outside. But if you do have a truly satin or silk bonnet and or scarf, here's my recommendation. I still recommend that you use a satin pillowcase. And here's why. Because most people have a hard time ensuring that their bonnet or their scarf stay in the same exact spot all night long. Usually it shifts around a little bit. Usually it may move a little bit, like your edges may end up being exposed in the middle of the night by the time you wake up, or who knows. Whatever is exposed to that pillow is what is going to affect. So let's say you have on your scarf and you put it on and in the middle of the night it ends up from here, it ends up here, right? Because that's what happens a lot of times. It ends up shifting backwards. So now all of your edges and all this hair is now having its moisture sucked up from the moisture leaching fabric of the cotton or the polyester. Teresa said, I got my satin one from Macy's during their one-day sale. I love it. I prefer the pillowcase over the bonnet. Personal summers get in the way. Yeah, I love the pillowcases. I actually have several satin pillowcases. I have one that I carry. It just stays in my suitcase. I take it everywhere I go because I travel a lot. I have one at my mom's house. Before me and Mike moved in together, I had one at his house. Like, I had one at my best friend's house. Everywhere.
You travel a lot.
I do travel a lot.
You like to travel.
So I used to have one and obviously I have one in my house as well. So I have a satin or silk pillowcase pretty much everywhere I regularly go. And I would advise that you guys get satin or silk pillowcases as well. It's just easier for me to just have them already there. I don't have to think about packing it. You don't have to go to that extreme. You can literally just have one in your house. But either way, I definitely advise that you still have a satin or silk pillowcase in addition to your bonnet or your your bonnet or your scarf. I sleep with a scarf. I didn't used to sleep with anything on my head, but lately I've been sleeping with a scarf, and I still have my satin or silk pillowcase because I don't want anything to be exposed. And I even have my hair in this protective style right now. So all of this hair, this is crocheted in, so all this hair is protected and fine. But this hair out here, if I don't sleep on the satin pillowcase, guess what? Even though I put my scarf on and it shifts back, it's still going to be exposed if I don't protect it. Serena says, many times I'll put my satin cap on when I'm sitting on the couch because I may fall asleep or my hair may rub against the couch. That is really smart, Serena. I like that in you. Serena. I really like that in you. I like that you're thinking like that because that's a really good point. So when she's chilling on the couch, sometimes she knows that she's going to fall asleep. She'll go ahead and put her satin cap on because she might end up falling asleep and her hair will be rubbing against the couch. And again, the couch material is certainly not silk or satin. It might be leather, it might be cotton, it might be polyester. Who knows what her couch is made out of. And it's going to suck whatever goodness she's put into her hair, is going to suck it out. So good thinking, Serena. Loretta says, personal summers will set your head on fire. Pillowcase for me, please. Yes, I haven't quite gotten to the personal summers yet, but alas, it's coming. It's going to be coming. I don't know when, but I may be a little bit far away from it. I don't know. How old are you when you start having those challenges? I feel like my mom was pretty young. I don't know. Anyway, yes, I agree with you. My sister actually has her personal summers now. So, and she definitely uses her satin pillowcase as opposed to a bonnet or a headscarf. Eva says she found a charmeuse satin bonnet on Etsy, but I need a satin pillowcase. Could you find a satin pillowcase on Etsy too? Did you look on Etsy, Eva? I know, like Teresa said, you can get them at Macy's. I know for sure Macy's sells them in abundance. You can find lots of satin pillowcases at Macy's. Okay, I'm gonna go through the questions because I want to make sure I get everybody. I thought I saw one from John. Yes, John says step 2 can be used with what other hair products? So in our line, John, we have steps 1, 2, and 3. So those are made to work together in conjunction.
Is that a boy or a girl?
Well, the name's John, so I'm gonna assume it's a boy, a man. You can use steps 1, 2, and 3. However, and then we also have our Heavenly Hydration Grapeseed Hair Mist. So all the products in the Naturalicious line will work together just fine. Step 2, however, all of our products actually have not been designed to work solely with just our products because it's not realistic to assume that every single customer is only going to use one brand, right? So a lot of people use different brands interchangeably. They like this person's edge control, they like this person's moisturizer, they like this company's, shampoo or what have you. And so we've pretty much formulated all of our products to be able to work well with other products. Now, I have no idea what other products do or other brands. I don't know if they formulated their products the same way, but we formulated our products in that way. So the majority of our products do work really well with other brands. So to answer your question, John, step 2 should be able to be used in conjunction with it. For sure, it can be used with any Naturalicious hair care product. But if it's other brands, it should be able to work with those other brands as well. I thought I saw another question from John, though. I thought I saw 2 questions. Maybe I didn't. Oh, yes. John said, how often should protein treatments be applied to high porosity hair? You should be doing a protein treatment about once a month. Once a month maximum. You don't want to do them any more than that. If you do protein treatments too often, you can end up with what's called protein overload. Protein overload is when your hair gets so full of protein that it actually makes it more like a twig as opposed to a branch. So think about a tree. Like a tree branch is very strong, whereas a twig is very weak and it snaps very easily. That's what will happen to your hair if you have too much protein in it. So once a month is pretty much the max that you want to do your protein treatments. And that's whether you have high porosity or low porosity hair, by the way. Let me keep going. I answered a lot of these already. Lee said, watch Gwen's 9-minute video and you can see how she detangles her hair. Yes, thank you, Lee. So if you guys go to the YouTube page that I gave earlier, which is youtube.com/naturaliciousbeauty, you will see my 9-minute wash day video where I wash my entire hair from start to finish in just 9 minutes using the Naturalicious system. And yes, she's absolutely correct. You can see how I detangle my hair using the wide tooth comb and how I started at the ends and slowly, gradually, and gently worked my way up to the root. Let's see. Yeah, Serena, about your question about the email, when you click the link, it doesn't go to the live. I'm not really sure. I mean, the lives are, the link in the emails are not the link to the lives because there's no link to the lives to give in advance because the live, you only get the link to the live when you go live. You know what I mean? So since I'm not live when the email's sent out, there's no link directly to the live, but the link should take you to the Facebook page where the live takes place. So if you're already, so you should get a notification on your Facebook that I'm going live. Does that make sense? So you should, to ensure that you do, make sure you subscribe to notifications. There's like a little button on the Facebook page here. You can just click subscribe to notifications, and then when you do, you'll start to get notifications every time I go live, and so you'll always know. Okay? Yep, Jackie said I have get notifications every time Gwen goes live from Facebook. So yep, so same thing. Jackie just basically said exactly what I just said. So Cool beans.
Are we
Jacket.
just looking at comments now?
Yeah, we're looking at comments.
Comment time.
Lee said around 30 or 40 is when you start going through menopausal symptoms. So that means
Quiz time. What
coming
is
up on them. Loretta said she started at 20. Really? Oh my goodness. Denise said Amazon sells satin and silk pillowcases. Yes, they do. I got my silk pillowcase from Amazon. Although I can't even give the link because I tried to buy another one, and you know how sometimes like it's not available anymore. Whatever company it was I got it from, they wasn't even on Amazon no more, so I couldn't even get it again. Silence says I went to Joann's and bought the fabric to make the whole family pillowcases and bonnets. That is a very smart move, and that is one way you can ensure that you actually do get satin and silk and not some knockoff. Eva said I did. Oh, she did, but order got canceled. Going to get it from Macy's or Amazon. Okay, cool. John says thank you. You are the most informative. You know your business. Thank you, John. You are so welcome. Marjorie says when do I use a grapeseed hair mist? When I use it, when do I use a grapeseed hair mist? I use it when I'm refreshing my twist out and then put my step 2 on. That is how I use it. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning so much, y'all. I'm sorry. Yes, Marjorie. That is how you can use it. You can use the grapeseed hair mist in a number of ways. So the way that you mentioned it, it's fantastic. And so again, to refresh the comment for everyone, Marjorie is using our Heavenly Hydration grapeseed hair mist when she's refreshing her twist out and then when she's putting on her step 2. For this young one, I actually use the hair mist on him. So I actually spray his hair with a spray bottle of water.
I'll go get it.
No, we're not going to demonstrate it right now. I spray his hair with a little bit of water, and then I put on the hair mist, so the Heavenly Hydration Grapeseed hair mist. I spray that all over his hair. I rub it in his hair. I massage it in, and then I put on step 2. So I do the exact same thing that you do, Marjorie, except the only thing I add on is that I add on step 3 after that to give his hair some shine without it feeling greasy. And then I go ahead and I use a little sponge and I circle it up and I pick it out and whatever. But basically I use it the exact same way for him that you're using it, except like I said, I just add in step 3 at the end. Another way that I use the hair mist is that I actually use it on my protective styles. So I wear a lot of protective styles, especially lately because I'm growing my hair out. And because when your hair is in a protective style in this manner, which means it's crocheted, it's really hard to get to your hair with a cream-based moisturizer, which is the best type of moisturizer you can use, which in our case is step 2. So I use the hair mist because it's a moisturizer as well, but it comes out like a spray. So I literally just part my hair like so. Like I would part, let's say right here, for example, and see this part, I would just take the spray and I'll go and I'll spray it and I'll rub it in and then I move on to another section and I separate this and I spray it. So that way my hair is consistently moisturized all the time, even though I can't use the cream moisturizer. And the benefit of that is that a lot of times when people wear protective styles, their hair grows tremendously because they're not actively manipulating their hair all the time. And so they're so excited because their hair has grown so much. But the problem is that their hair has not been moisturized in all that time. So that could be anywhere from 3 weeks to maybe 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, depending on how long they've been wearing their protective style. So now that means that they've got all this length, but it's going to start breaking off because they haven't been able to moisturize it. And the reason, lack of adequate moisture, like I mentioned earlier, is the root cause of breakage, right? So when I spray my hair in this protective style with that spray, when I come out of my protective style, my hair is thoroughly moisturized. It's not breaking, it's not shedding and all that kind of stuff because it's been moisturized even though I've been in the protective style the whole time. So those are just a couple ways that you can use step 2. I also know some people who wear mini twists. They'll twist up their own hair, and they will wear their hair in a mini twist out, and they'll use that spray to refresh their hair. Essentially, it's a hair refresher. So anytime your hair is looking kind of dull and lifeless and needs like a pick-me-up, the Heavenly Hydration Grapeseed Hair Mist is the product that you want to use for that.
Sorry.
Shaban said, Gwen, did you see the post about the Alpha G protein treatment? Should we not be using Alpha G for our protein treatments? Yeah, Shaban, I did see that. I think it was, did Eva post that? I can't remember who posted the Alpha G. It may have been Allie. I don't know. I can't remember exactly who posted it, but I did see it. and it had DMDM high dantoin in it. Now here's the thing: you have to look at the ingredients consistently on products, because a lot of times products will change their ingredients without notice, right? So if you're used to using a certain brand and that brand has been known for maybe having good ingredients, and then, you know, all of a sudden in the case of Apogee with this, excuse me, Jesus Christ, I don't know why I'm so tired. As Apogee has in the case with this DMDM hand dantoin, obviously you wouldn't know unless you actually looked at the ingredients list again. So for those of you who do not know what DMDM hand dantoin is, it is a endocrine disruptor, essentially. So it's an ingredient that is used to preserve products. It also extends the shelf life of products, which is what a preservative does, but extends it even more. And essentially it also is an endocrine disruptor. And what does that mean? An endocrine disruptor is anything that creates an overabundance of hormone in your body. So for women, it creates an overabundance of estrogen. And when you have an overabundance of estrogen, now you are very likely, I won't say very likely, you are more prone to end up with cancer-causing issues like breast cancer, uterine fibroids, things like that. So endocrine disrupting ingredients are not uncommon in products, especially those that are targeted to African American women. It is a very common thing that happens all the time. So I did see that, and no, I do not recommend that you guys use Apogee for your protein treatments. You know, the number one thing I always suggest is using an egg. I mean, it's the easiest thing it's the easiest and the cheapest protein treatment you can ever do. If you're going to use an egg, make sure that you're using the yolk of the egg, not the white of the egg, because the white removes moisture and we want moisture added. So that's what the yolk does. Use the yolk, beat it up, put it on your hair. Make sure your hair is wet first. Put it on your hair.
A real yolk?
Yes, a real egg yolk. Put it on your hair. Put it on your hair, put a plastic cap over it, chill out for maybe 20 minutes, and then rinse it off with very cool water. Don't rinse it off with hot water, otherwise it will fry the egg on your head. But that's the cheapest and best protein treatment you can use, and you don't have to worry about any of that, those endocrine disrupting ingredients in your protein. Okay. What about adding protein to conditioner, says John? Well, it depends on how often you're going to be conditioning your hair. I'm assuming you're conditioning your hair more than once a month, and I always recommend that you don't use protein more than once a month. So if you are conditioning your hair multiple times a month, I wouldn't suggest that you do that. And I actually don't really like mixing ingredients too much together. I more prefer layering them, because layering them has a better effect than mixing them together. Mixing things together can oftentimes negatively impact the benefit that the original ingredients, the original product is supposed to have. So if your original product is a conditioner and you add a protein to it, it may not actually do that great of a job of conditioning, because now it's got the protein added to it. Instead, I would suggest that you condition your hair, rinse that out, and then add the protein on top of that once you're done. You'll get better results, more consistent results if you do that. But again, you should only be doing that once a month anyway. Denise says, is the once a month protein conditioning different from weekly deep conditioning? So it's not a protein conditioning. Protein is really designed to strengthen your hair, and that's really the whole point of it. Our hair is made out of protein, and so in order to make sure that your hair is strong and resistant to breakage and all that good stuff, a lot of times we will do topical protein treatments, right? And so don't think of it as a protein conditioning. It's more like, because protein and conditioning should be two totally separate processes, okay? So yes, to that point, Denise, it is different than your weekly deep conditioning, because your deep conditioning is not a protein conditioning, right? Your protein is literally a treatment that you're doing to strengthen your hair, whereas condition to strengthen your hair so it's why can't I talk? So that it's less prone to breakage, whereas conditioning is designed solely to penetrate deep conditioning is designed solely to penetrate your hair, to moisturize from the inside out, all that sort of stuff. So it's two totally different sorts of processes. And again, protein should only be done once a month, where you should be deep conditioning every time you wash your hair. Altice said, yes, it's different, Denise. So she already answered the question. You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's see who else did I miss. Teresa says, my hair loves the grapeseed mist. That's what I need a gallon of. Y'all need a gallon. Y'all don't kill me with these gallons. You need a gallon of the grapeseed mist. Y'all need a gallon of the I'm still working on getting you guys another gallon of the step 1. No promises, but as you guys know, we can't always release it because we have special agreements with our salons and our stylists who use that. So we have to be very careful when we release it to customers. We released it for the first time ever, the gallon of the step 1, I think it was right before Christmas or right after Christmas. I think it was right before Christmas. And y'all took it all. Like, it was gone. I was just kept seeing like orders coming in from like, oh my gosh, how are we gonna fill all these gallons? I didn't expect so many people to want gallons of it, but it's really exciting to know that you guys love it so much. But yes, I'm still working on seeing when we can re-release that gallon for you guys, and as soon as I know, you all will know. So I'll make sure I let you know. As far as you, Miss Teresa Barbie, who wants a gallon of the grapeseed hair mist, girl, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see what I can do for you. Okay. That's all I can do. I can see what I can do for you. But you do know that we do have the 8-ounce size. So we did release the 8-ounce sizes, I think at the end of 2017. So we only had 4-ounce sizes before. So now we have double size. Now we have 8-ounce sizes. But I'll try and see if I can somehow figure out how we can, maybe closer later on in the year, how can we release a larger size, again, that we offer to our salons as maybe like a one-day sale for you guys, if you guys would like that. Let me know. Yeah, it was Eva who had the Apple G label. I thought it was either you or Allie. I thought so. Kiki says, the only way for me to moisturize my hair and twist out is to completely retwist. I thought of every possible option, and there's none. Okay. I'm trying to think of that process. So moisturizing your hair when it's in a twist out is to completely retwist. Why do you have to re-moisturize your hair? I'm sorry, why do you have to retwist your hair to moisturize it? Explain that to me, Kiki, so I can understand, so I can maybe give you some suggestions. Allison said, egg yolks. My mother used those when I was younger. See? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Serena says, I heard people put mayonnaise in their hair. Is that protein? Yes, kind of, sort of, not really. Putting mayonnaise in the hair, I think a lot of people put mayonnaise in their hair with the intent of using it as protein, but it's not really protein. Let me phrase that. It's got some protein in it, of course, but it's not really an adequate amount of protein to really affect your hair positively and strengthen it that much. Eggs are much better because it's straight up protein, like all day. There's nothing but protein. Whereas mayonnaise is obviously not like a naturally occurring substance. It's obviously a bunch of man-made stuff that they put together in order to make mayonnaise. And so while it has protein in it, mayonnaise is much better, in fact, for maybe conditioning as opposed to protein. So you can use mayonnaise for conditioning, but I wouldn't use it with the intent of trying to use it for protein. Let's see. You're welcome, Denise. How can you tell, LaShawn says, how can you tell if you are moisturizing enough or have enough moisture in your hair? So if your hair doesn't feel moisturized, like if you feel your hair and it feels dry, like bone dry, you're not moisturizing often enough, right? Because earlier, like I said, it's not really about how much you moisturize at one time. It's about how consistent you are over time moisturizing your hair. So a big problem that people have, and one of the reasons why their hair consistently feels dry all the time, is because they wait until their hair feels dry to moisturize. You should be more preventative than reactive. So you should be moisturizing your hair before it feels dry. Because once it feels dry to you, you got to understand it takes a little while for, like, your hair at the core, like the inside of your hair is really what you're trying to prevent being dry. Because that is the part that starts like everything from happening, right? It stops either the breakage or it causes the breakage, right? So if the core of your hair is dry, it's going to eventually work its way to the outside and it's going to feel dry to you. By the time it feels dry to you, it's been dry at the core for a little while. And the breakage process has already started. So and I'm glad you're asking this question because this actually makes me bring this point up. So you should really be moisturizing your hair every day. Like, there's no reason to not moisturize your hair every day. It should not take you a long time. It should not be labor intensive. It should be really simple and really easy. You can literally take some product, put it in between your hands, and just go down your hair like this once a day, maybe at night before you go to bed. I'm not saying you have to retwist your hair every night. You can if you want to, but I personally don't retwist my hair every night when I am wearing a twist out. So I think some people think that if you re-moisturize your hair, that means that you have to retwist. Not necessarily. It depends on how you sleep and how you put your hair up at night to keep that twist out intact. That's all about technique. That has nothing to do with product. Instead of waiting, like, say 2 or 3 days after you've done your twist out or braid out or whatever style you're wearing to moisturize your hair, just moisturize it every single day. Moisturize it every day, and that way you never have to worry about your hair not retaining moisture. That's really it. Because again, once your hair feels dry to you, it's already on its way to being too late. So the best and easiest and simplest way is just to do it every day. I think Erica at one time, or maybe still does, was moisturizing her hair twice a day. I was a twice a day moisturizer for a long time. Until my hair got to a point where I realized it was going to retain moisture for me because it wasn't moisture restricted. It didn't feel like it wasn't going to get moisture. So it started allowing the moisture to be retained in my hair. And then I was able to start moisturizing my hair once a day. But yeah, I would say at minimum once a day, moisturize your hair. You cannot over moisturize your hair. The only way you can is if you are using a product that has adverse ingredients in it that are not conducive for our hair, such as mineral oil, and like really heavy ingredients that kind of build up on the hair. So other than that, if you're using like a product like Naturalicious, you can never over moisturize because our hair requires moisture in order to thrive. And so moisturizing your hair too much is not a thing. I know there's a bunch of people on the web who say, oh, you can moisturize your hair too much, and you have they have some sort of like made up name they came up with, like moisture overload or some crap. That's BS. You cannot over moisturize your hair, trust me. The only way you can, again, and this has nothing to do with having too much like moisture or hydration in your hair, is it's basically just buildup that sits on top of your hair from things like mineral oil and other sorts of ingredients that just leave buildup on your hair. Loretta said half gallons work too. Lola says, when you use an egg for protein treatment, is it okay to add an oil with it? Yes. Yes, it is. However, you want to add the oil on top of the egg. Do not mix them together. You know, I'm not a fan of mixing. I'm more about layering because layering works better. Do not mix the oils mix the oil and the egg together. You can put the egg on and then the oil on top of that. So essentially what you would be doing in that case, you would basically be doing a protein treatment along with a hot oil treatment at the same time. Basically, that's what you would be doing. Hello. What if your deep conditioner has protein in it? Is that safe? It's safe to use once a month. I wouldn't use it. Well, first of all, if your deep conditioner has protein in it, like if you bought it like from a store and it says it has protein in it, I would check those ingredients, because a lot of times what's on the front of the label it's not the real deal. A lot of times what's on the front of the label, they just say stuff to make you, because they know. Okay, let me back up. Y'all about to put me on my soapbox again? Okay. What is on the front of the label is all marketing. Pretty much. I mean, like 99% of everything on front of the label is marketing. So, for example, there are products that say it has. There's another product that says it has Rasul clay, and I ain't gonna tell y'all which one because it doesn't matter. There's another product that says it has Rasul clay in it. If you look at the ingredient list, however, and it says may infuse with Rasul clay, Rasul clay, Rasul clay, Rasul clay. Y'all know we use Rasul clay in our step 1, right? However, if you turn over on the ingredient list, you'll see Rasul clay is the very last ingredient on that particular product. What does that mean? That means that that means that I don't want to. I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say this because it really annoys me when they do this. That means that what's at the top of the label of the ingredient is what's most prominent. What's at the bottom is what's least prominent. It's usually not very much at all of that last or few last ingredients. So sometimes companies will put a buzzword or a buzz or a trendy ingredient on the front of the label in order to sell that product to you. But when you get it, when you look at the ingredient list, you'll realize like, oh, it's only like, it's literally the dead last ingredient. That means there's literally like a drop of that ingredient in it, just so they could say it without getting in trouble, right? So usually protein / deep conditioners, a lot of times it really ain't that much protein in it. They just say protein because they know that most people aren't cosmetic chemists, and that, you know, they feel like, oh, my hair needs to be strengthened and I need to condition it. Let me get a deep conditioner that's also a protein, right? So I would check the ingredient list to see exactly where that protein ingredient lies on that ingredient list, because there's a very good chance it's towards the bottom. It's probably not that much actually in there. So it may not even be enough to even really affect anything. But if it truly is an adequate amount of protein in your deep conditioner, I would suggest doing it once a month, like I said before. Because again, too much protein can give you protein overload and cause your hair to break like a twig. But again, check that ingredient list and see where that protein truly lies, because most deep conditioners don't really have a way, the way the formulations have to work. It's really, a lot of times they just be lying, or, you know, kind of stretching the truth, shall I say. All right, so check that first. You may just really just have a deep conditioner with like a drop of protein in it, so they can say that it's protein. So check that out first. But again, if it is truly like half and half, then I will only use it once a month. Eva says, I got family members that love grapeseed mist, including my dad. Need the gallon. Okay, I got you, Eva. Lee is advocating for the gallon as well. She said Mother's Day would work or later. Is there a video on doing a protein conditioner? Yes, Marjorie, if you go to youtube.com/Naturalicious, I'm sorry, youtube.com/Naturalicious excuse me, and you look for protein, you just kind of do a Control F, which is find, and type in protein. It'll take you to the video that I have on protein. It tells you exactly how to do a protein treatment with an egg. What about leave-in conditioners with keratin or wheat protein? Okay, so any kind of protein is not good to stay in your hair for long periods of time, or for you to do it multiple times within a month. No matter what kind of protein it is, whether it's wheat protein, polyprotein, keratin protein, what have you, your mama's protein, your daddy's protein, whoever's protein, no matter what kind of protein it is, it's really not advantageous to do it more than once a month. You should be doing protein once a month at max on your hair. So if you're doing a leave-in conditioner, I'm going to assume that you're using your leave-in conditioner more than once a month. I'm assuming you're probably using it multiple times a week, if at least once a week, if not multiple times a week. So I wouldn't advise that you use that. But again, you got to look and see exactly where that protein ingredient lies, because depending on if they're telling the truth or not, it may not really be that a whole lot of protein. They may just be saying it's a keratin protein or keratin treat, blah, 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 whatever, to sell that product to you, because what's on the front of the label is not always the truth, right? Look at the back of the ingredient list and see where that protein ingredient lies. If it's at the bottom, then there's not even a whole lot of protein in there to begin with. But if it's in the middle or at the top, then I would definitely advise that you only use that product once a month, because too much protein can potentially cause you to have protein overload. That doesn't mean that everybody who uses protein more than once a month is going to get it, but it's just like heat. With heat, you don't know how much heat tolerance your hair has until it's too late. You never know if your hair can take a lot of heat or too little heat, or if your hair structure has changed at any point until you actually have heat damage. It's the same, and then you got to start over from scratch. It's the same thing with an overabundance of protein. You don't really know how much protein your hair can take until it's too late and your hair is breaking and you got to start all over from scratch. And nobody wants that. So I say just be preventative about it, and once a month maximum, you should be good to go. Any suggestions from protein treatments beside egg yolks? Well, I would have given you ApHogee up until recently, but ApHogee now has DMDM, high antoine in it, so I don't have any other protein treatments other than that, because those are the only two that I would normally regularly use was algae, but no more because it has that endocrine disruptor ingredient, and then eggs. So I have to kind of search around for another adequate protein treatment that you can buy in a store that I would personally recommend. So I need to actually go and like look at ingredients and all that kind of stuff before I can recommend one for you, Denise. But I mean, again, egg yolks are super natural, and they're super easy to find and accessible, and they're cheap. So that's what I would advise. I mean, if you don't want to use them because you're vegan, that's a different story. So I have to like search for something. But up until just a couple days ago, I would have suggested algae, but they've changed their ingredient list, so I can't recommend that anymore. Because of my hair texture, any moisture will revert it back to its natural state or take on a new mold. So the larger twist would mess up my smaller twist pattern if I put moisturizer in it. So are you talking about when you wear your hair straight, Kiki? Because water is moisture. So it really, that has nothing to do with your hair texture. That's anybody's hair, right? So anybody's hair who is naturally curly, if it's straightened or blown out or whatever, and then they put moisture in it, which is water-based, is going to revert their hair too. So that has nothing to do with your particular hair texture. That's the way that our hair works. She said the larger twist would mess up my smaller twist pattern if I put moisturizer on it. So you're saying, okay, I think I kind of understand where you're coming from, Kiki. I think I'm still a little confused, but I think you're saying if you twist out your hair and you got this really nice twist out, in order for you want to moisturize your hair again, but in order for if you do that, it's going to mess up whatever you've done. So you basically just started from scratch retwisting. That's what I'm guessing that you're saying. I think it really depends also on the amount of moisturizer that you're using. So when you're retwisting your hair, like the second time and the third time, like just to wear it again the next day, you don't need to use as much moisturizer as you did the first time, right? The first time you're using it to like kind of set your hair. The second time you're just using it as like prevention from being dry. So you don't need to use as much. So I think if it may have to do with the amount that you're using. So I would suggest trying maybe a lesser amount, but still like gently using it on your hair, because when your hair's in a twist out, it's still in its natural state, right? It's not like completely like flat ironed, I'm assuming, because I've seen your hair and I've never really seen you wear it flat iron. It's still got some texture to it. So I would suggest just trying to use less of the product, whatever product it is, and then twisting and see if that works and see if that doesn't revert your hair. Try that and see how that goes for you. Y'all got a lot of questions today. After I moisturize, my hair is very soft. What does that mean? That's what it's supposed to be. That's exactly right. What?
It's almost over.
No. Are you leaving?
I just want it to be over almost.
Well, it's not over. So.
Almost?
No, it's not almost over.
Close?
No.
Not close?
No.
I said not close.
No.
It's
so
not
your hair.
close to the end.
I'm talking right now. Okay. Thank you. So after you moisturize your hair, it's very soft. What does that mean? That means that your hair is highly moisturized, highly hydrated, which is what it should be. You want your hair to be soft. You don't want your hair to be hard or stiff or difficult. You want your hair to move, all that kind of stuff. And that's what happens when your hair is moisturized. So it sounds like you're doing the right thing, John. So kudos to you. You are welcome for the information. Great RHR tonight, says Lee. Thank you, Gwen and Kaden, for a bomb RHR this evening. Tons of great information. You are welcome. Erica says you are so cute.
Thank you.
He said thank you. He's got this look like, oh my God, Mom, are we done? Well, that's it for tonight. I'm glad y'all had so many questions. Thank you for bringing them. And welcome again, all you newbies. If you missed any part of this RHR, make sure you check the replay when this is over so you can catch everything that we talked about tonight. Keep in mind, you guys, there will be no RHR next week or the week after. And I don't think the week after that, because I will be in Europe for those 3 weeks. So
You said 2 weeks.
I will be in Europe. So there will be no RHR. However, I will be checking in. Right, he definitely has it's a rap sign. I will be checking in. I'll be in the nation, all that sort of stuff, but I won't be able to do RHR because I really have no idea what sort of Wi-Fi I'm going to be able to have. Like, I have no clue. I really don't even know where I'm going. Actually, this is a Christmas gift from Bay to me. He bought me a trip to London and Portugal for Christmas. Isn't that sweet? So we actually leave tomorrow. So you guys have a good evening. Kaden, hush. Thank you. You guys have a good evening. I'm going to put this one in bed because he is on one tonight. It's time for him to go to bed. I love you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.